Okay. Woo! Now, I wanted to get into the top socialist lies, top 5 myths that people.
Good.
I guess these just continually. Let's just start with this: Bernie Sanders town hall at Fox News.
You guys saw the Bernie Sanders town hall at with Fox News, right? Because that was some really good content right there. Oh God, the noises.
Just reach back there with a pair of pliers and pull it out. Shrug.
I'll take your advice into consideration. Thank you for it.
It personified everything wrong with the left wing. Let's start with this.
I happen to believe, Joe, that we have an absurd tax system. And while millions of people today are paying actually more in taxes than they anticipated, Amazon, Netflix, and dozens of major corporations, as a result of Trump's tax bill, pay nothing in federal taxes. I think that's a disgrace.
What you don't say is that everybody paid less in taxes than they did under Obama, or they would under you piece of shit.
We're off hard with this. No, a lot of middle class and lower class people paid more under the Trump tax bill. Trump may have lowered the marginal tax rates across the board, but he also got rid of a huge number of deductions, which led to many people not only not getting their tax refund from the IRS, but many of them having to pay more. This is a factually incorrect statement. What's more, not only is it factually incorrect, it is contextually incorrect, because Bernie Sanderino, in the very clip that Crowder just linked, said that many of you are paying more. Here, we can listen. He specifically addressed this.
As a result of Trump, Amazon, net absurd tax system.
Hello,
And while millions.
This is my first stream that I've been able to catch. I used to be a chud, but you were the catalyst that stopped me from delving even deeper into chuddom. Please delete Crowder and take my money for no more tooth hurts.
Bless. Thank you so much. I'll check out the donation shortly.
Of people today are paying actually more in taxes than they anticipated.
More in taxes than they anticipated. And he is speaking very specifically about Trump's tax bill. So Bernie, imagine this conversation face to face. Bernie Sanders is like, and more people are paying more money under Trump's tax bill. Steven Crowder steps in. And what you refuse to say is that people are paying less money under Trump's tax bill. Fascinating, Steven Crowder. I think you might have to substantiate that point, because the data that I have seen suggests otherwise. Also, again, it has nothing to do with Bernie Sanders' point here is that people in the top margins, the big corporations, pay nothing in taxes because they're able to work the loopholes of the system. And then Steven Crowder's like, well, we're all paying less, so it's okay. Like, it's wrong. It's wrong. On like 6 levels, it's incredible. It's like Matt, you're trying to pour out all the ways in which it's wrong out of a bottle, but it's a Klein bottle. It never stops.
Less in taxes than they did under Obama, or they would under you piece of shit. By the way, did you notice he said dozens of corporations?
Dozens.
Just run.
Making fun of.
Hey, I'm the token Frenchie here. Get out, baguette, distressed hissing.
Thanks. By the way, spread it around. Doing Bernie's accent is now anti-Semitic. Unless you're on the left. If you're on the right, it's anti-Semitic, okay? In fact, criticizing Bernie Sanders is anti-Semitic. Pass it around.
Run a quick search and see how many corporations there are in the United States. Hint, it's a lot more than dozens.
Yeah, it's almost as though...
Just found your channels. How long have you been doing this? I just saw you pop up one day. Keep owning the crypto Nazis. Thank you so much.
No, for one, thank you. Seriously. For two, I've really popped off on YouTube over the past 2 months or so. And for 3, I really appreciate the support. Thank you. I'll check out Super Chat soon. So, known anti-Semite Steven Crowder just made the point that it's okay that dozens of corporations that rake in billions of dollars every year pay nothing in taxes because there are more than dozens of corporations in America. based Steven Crowder coming in with the extremely relevant and poignant political takes.
If we missed a couple of dozen, that's okay.
This is the dishonesty. They're paying more than they expected because they wanted an even bigger tax cut that you and the media deceived them into thinking they wouldn't even get. Even the
Wait, what? You're paying more than you expected because you expected to pay less, even though the media deceived you into believing you weren't going to get less? So the media deceived you into believing the Trump tax cuts wouldn't cut your taxes, but then they did, but then you wanted more because of the media deception that lowered your expectation. We're never going to make it through this video, are we? We're never making it through this fucking video.
Oh, most people saved money. The media deceived them into thinking they wouldn't even get. Even the New York Times did an expose on this. Many people who got a tax cut didn't actually believe that they got one at all. Most people saved money, paid less in taxes this year.
What? Wait. Yeah, everyone got a tax cut. That was the letter of the law. It was that a bunch of deductions and other like itemized means by which you could lower your tax burden.
Just found your channel. Hopefully the Twitch ban gets reversed, but keep up the good job.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I don't know if it ever will, but I'm doing fine here too. So welcome to the channel. Jesus H. Christ. So the problem here is not the actual posted tax rates. It's the effect of mixing those lowered posted tax rates from a reduction in the incentives and deductions that middle class and lower class people can engage in, but upper class people don't have to, which led to many people actually paying more in taxes this past year than otherwise. And wait, didn't you just say the mainstream media deceived you into saying there would be no tax cuts, but then you gave the New York Times saying there would? Whew! These are some really stupid arguments. God damn. All right.
The middle class benefited from the tax cut. Everyone did. But I bet you're paying more.
Citation needed.
Than you thought. What are you saying? You thought you were going to get a bigger price break. Screw you.
Wait, we did? I thought we just said the media brainwashed people into thinking they weren't going to get anything from the Trump tax cuts. Well, so what is it, Steven Crowder? What? My friend, Crowder, my friend. So what is it exactly? Because you cannot simultaneously say that people won't listen to the media. The media's telling it right there. You got a tax cut. There you go. While also saying the media brainwashed you into believing that you would not be the recipient of any tax cuts with the Trump tax plan. Whew. Ooh. These are just some, man, we're coming out the gate with some really hot feelings, you know? Hold on one second. God damn. Oh, we're never going to get through this. You know that, right? I need to make myself a little bigger. Nope. That ain't it, Chief. Had myself all tiny from playing video games.
Without a hint of... The middle class benefited from the tax cut. Everyone did. But I bet you're paying more than you thought. What are you saying? You thought you were going to get a bigger price break. Screw you. This is how socialism works.
He sounds like actually offended too. Screw you! Like he's actually getting really worked up in the seat and looking a little red in the face over there, Steven Crowder.
It deceives people into thinking they're worse off than they are by lying to them and then using that misery to get elected, promising to solve everyone's...
Excuse me? Can we listen to that again?
You were going to get a bigger price break. Screw you! This is how socialism works. It deceives people into thinking they're worse off than they are by lying to them and then using that misery to get elected, promising...
Is that how socialism works? I guess. If you ignore other examples of political leaders capitalizing on the fear and discontent of the population to secure an election.
I don't care what it costs me. I just want to stop you talking.
Shut the fuck up. Oh, God.
to solve everyone's problem with free money. And this was
with free money, again demonstrating an excellent understanding of market policy. And again, and I need to say this every time, Bernie Sanders is not a socialist. He does not advocate for seizure of the means of production. He advocates for a social democracy, which functions basically identically to the country we have today, except with slightly higher taxes, more government regulation, and the consolidation of those tax dollars into, say, single-payer healthcare, free education, and what have you. This is very easy to understand. That Crowder pretends, oh, this is socialism, and all socialism is telling people they're miserable, so they vote for you. He knows he's lying.
Get to the top 5, I think the biggest myths, the most pervasive myths. All this was reiterated. There was an article this week announcing memes.tv. Did you see this? It's an online socialist media network who, without a hint of irony, it'll be a paid subscription service.
Socialists can't make money. Welcome to Vosh's YouTube channel, of the capitalist Vosh. We know he is capitalist because he gets money to stream. What a big brain take! Wow! Oh, incredibly amazing. Every time it's so funny. Every time I hear it, socialists who make money are hypocrites. Every time I hear it, it's funnier. I'm busting a nut over here. I'm going to fucking come. Oh man! Every time it's just oh, whoo, oh, it gets me sweating. Oh, God. Let's keep it going. We're only 2 minutes in.
Stephen, that's a tax.
So I went to their site to see what they were about. And again, let me know which socialist candidate you want us to live stream next week, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Sanders, Harris, Klobuchar, Buttigieg, Warren.
Is Buttigieg a socialist? Is Harris a socialist? How do people watch this and take it seriously? Jesus Christ. Let us know which socialist you want us to, Buttigieg and Harris and Donald Trump, of course, also known socialist. Basically, everyone to the left of Mussolini is in some way or another a socialist. What the fuck is he talking about? Why don't you talk about an actual socialist, Steven Crowder? Come at me. Come at me. I know you'll never see this video when I put it up. Come at me. I'll debate you. I'll take you down on any topic. Your childhood memories, I guarantee you I can win a debate on their contents. You think Mama made you those warm cookies when you were 4.5 years old and came back from soccer practice and scraping your knee? You're wrong. She bought them from Safeway, heated them in the micro. I was there. I watched it happen, Crowder. Your entire fucking life is an illusion.
Warren. Went to their site, Means TV, to see what they're... No surprises. I felt like this segment was long overdue. Let's cycle through the top 5. All right, let's get to it. Yeah. Number 5 is that there is no class mobility. The cards are stacked against you. This comes directly from the new paid subscription socialist network. What?
You only really have like so many options. You can go to the factory, you can go to the college, or you can go to the army.
What do I have to do so I can get into a position to where I can chase what I want to chase versus surviving?
What? I feel like I have no options. And you proceed to name all the options. 3 unbelievable options. By the way, the offshoots from those 3 options are probably at least 3,000 options.
Master Cardinal, I was hoping maybe you could deliver some pence to the charity fund this year so I could have some prospects in my life other than joining with the servicemen or maybe being a worker down by the docks when I'm older. Timmy, being a serviceman or being a dock worker? You've just listed all there is to life. As he stuffs another packet of shillings into his pocket. Oh, little Timmy, don't you realize? You could make something of yourself there. I don't, I don't, Stephen, Mr. Crowder, if you're constitutionally incapable of understanding why people might be upset that they feel they have, no options in life because they're poor, I'm sorry. I can't explain empathy to you.
But like I could work at a factory and work your way up to vice president, work your factory. This is
Just work. Just work your way up to vice president. Forehead. Just you go to the factory. You're 16 years old. You have to work early, and you forged a work permit from your high school because you really need the money because your mom can't support you and your 2 kid brothers. And you go and you just work really hard, and you just work and you press the and you do it so good you become vice president, and now your stock options are worth millions. Brilliant. Wow. Steven Crowder, thank you so much. You should be a fucking life coach.
is in Detroit, this network, where a UAW worker costs the company an average of over $130,000 a year. Whoa. I could go into the military. Well, you mean you could get tuition paid for? Work your way up to, I don't know, officer? Not to mention serve your country? Yeah. Or I gotta go to college and shoot.
The suggestion that a person should have to enlist with the military in order to have a decent life is so reprehensibly stupid that I don't even feel a need to say anything in response to it.
Any of the hundreds of degrees available there? This is like, I only got 3.
A lot of people can't afford college, Steven Crowder. Maybe if we elected a certain, well, as you would call them, you would say the K-slur because you're an anti-Semite. But if we elected a certain socialist grandpa, maybe we could make college something equitably affordable. I thought you claimed to be a classical liberal, Mr. Louderworth Crowder, equal opportunity and what have you. Would not the ever-increasing costs of tuition ensure there is no equal opportunity when it comes to going to college and getting a higher education? Probably not. But then again, we are talking about somebody who unironically believes that asking for money for a service makes you not a socialist.
3 options.
No, I can't do anything.
Why are you complaining?
Sounds horrible.
Because the options I got are only infinity. I don't understand.
There are 3 options to on-ramps, basically. There are 3 on-ramps to any option you want for the rest of your life.
Okay.
I do love perpetually a bunch of like upper middle class like media boys sitting together in a recording room laughing at the idea that like a poor person of color can't find opportunity in life. Just
this idea that there is no social mobility in the United States. The cards are stacked against you. Over the course of their lives, 56% of Americans will find themselves in the top 10%. 73% will spend at least...
What? What? Wait, what? What is this? Percent of American adults who reached various income distribution levels over a 44-year period. Doesn't... What? What? So is this saying that 73% of American adults have, for at least 1 year of their life, been within the top 20% of income earners? Hold on. Mark Rank and Thomas Herschel. Probably spelled that wrong. Likelihood of experiencing relative poverty over the life course. I assume this is it. This sounds... Can I see the chart? No, this isn't the chart. Where's the... Do we want to link the actual fucking study? Percent of American adults who reach various income distribution levels. Percent of American adults who reach distribution levels. Here we go. What? I don't want to print it. What the fuck are you talking about? Here we go. So from AEI.org, evidence shows significant income, something from the top 20% for at least a year. Okay. So first, let's take a look at the AEI, shall we? the American Enterprise Institute, a DC-based conservative think tank that researches government, politics, economics. Yep. Controversies. Let's see. Goldwater campaign. Oh, that's old. Statements by affiliated people. Efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions is the positively silly idea of establishing global weather control by actively managing the atmosphere's greenhouse gas emissions. And endorsed Michael Crichton's novel State of Fear for having educated millions of readers about climate science. Okay, so we got some anti-climate change, like some climate change denialism. Yeah, okay. All right. That's cool. So let's take a look at the data, huh? New York Times, from rag to riches, Professor Wallace highlights ability. For example, Rankin as co-author, Thomas Herschel of Cornell, 44-year period, followed a cohort of American adults aged 25 to 60 over a 44-year period to find what percentage of them reached various levels of the income distribution of their lives. Their striking results are summarized in the chart above. I'm going to need to see some methodology. Yet while many Americans will experience some level of affluence during their lives, a much smaller percentage of them will do so for an extended period of time. Although 12% of the population will experience a year in what they find themselves to be the top 1% of income distribution, a mere 0.6% will do so for 10 consecutive years. Is this not a counter-argument that though there may be some wild fluctuations at various points in people's lives, it is in fact very difficult to maintain the existence in the higher echelons of the earned income? Like, what is this methodology? Is there any methodology that's posted here? There's no methodology. Can I get a look at the study? I'm typing, but this is fake. It seems a comrade leftist tech support in chat has evidence as to how this is fake. I look forward to reading it shortly. In the meantime, let's get back to the video. Even if the data presented here is valid, it doesn't really argue in favor of the point that there's substantial income or mobility in this country. What income mobility would suggest that there are people who begin their lives as a member of one class and then they move to a member of another class. Like a poor person becomes middle class, or a middle class person becomes rich. This is not evidenced what? You spent a year within the top 10% of income earners? But then if you spent... Did I say data? I obviously meant data. Data. Well, Godspeed, leftist tech support. Let's keep it going.
Least more than a year than the top 20%. Okay? So this idea that there's a static 99 and top 1% ruling class, it's just not true.
Nobody said it was static. They said the social systems which produce this inequality tend to maintain a fair degree of difference. Generally speaking, if you're born uber wealthy, you will die uber wealthy. And generally speaking, if you are born poor, you will die poor.
I see you had a run-in with the infamous Twitter squirrel. I bet someone that their rant against you would be posted on our Destiny. But none of the DGG memers noticed, so here you go.
Here I go, what? What? Oh, the Twitter scroll. Their rant against you. Wait, did they do a rant against me? I didn't see because they banned me. Like, I mean, they didn't ban me. They blocked me the nanosecond I said anything critical about them. Leftist tech support is saying there is no study between Mark and Thomas. This is referencing an opinion piece by Mark Rank that references Thomas Herschel and still has no links to actual sources. Fascinating. So we have not only a study which is not peer-reviewed, we have a study that doesn't show its methodology whatsoever, and it's been published by a conservative think tank that has had controversies in the past over anti-science and anti-intellectual honesty behavior to that extent from its constituent members. Incredible. All right, let's keep it going.
Particularly in the United States. And this brings me to myth number 4, that capitalism only benefits the wealthy.
Nobody says that capitalism only benefits the wealthy. It's that it disproportionately benefits the wealthy. Are these people constitutionally capable of representing an argument accurately? Obviously not, because if that was the case, they would have to contend with they'd have to contend with facts and logic over here. But all right. Leftist tech support, thank you. So, not only is this not peer-reviewed, this is an opinion piece on an opinion piece, with no methodology or peer review remotely involved in any way with that article.
We hear this all the time, that America sure is a rich country, but for most people, it's terrible.
My mom actually told me, like, moving to America just, like, made everything worse.
From where?
America, I feel like money is always
Quit talking over the video!
problem and the solution at the same time.
Are you high right now?
Seem to be just doing worse and worse, and nobody really seems to be able to do anything about it.
Better and better.
You know, why do our parents work all the time and then it's still hard for us? There's
spend too
definitely
much.
like, a system in place that keeps us there.
This is the height of conservative rhetoric we're seeing demonstrated right here. It's poor people talking about their struggles in this country while a bunch of rich white dudes in the background lab being like, "Ha! You spend too much, fucking idiot, fucking retard. Why don't you stop spending, fucking jackass idiot fuck? Just become the vice president of your factory, fucking idiot." This is the extent to which they're capable of engaging with criticism.
And to find out about that system, like, it's only $9.99 a month.
Steven Crowder. Don't fucking black voice me, okay? Don't fucking do it, man. And again, if you're not a real socialist if you pay money. Yes.
I buy your cars.
I buy your car.
They're not going to stay poor for long.
Honestly, here's the thing.
I don't like socialism because it makes my brain hurt when I have to think too hard. I like socialism because it would allow me to stop being an egg. I wish my wife would do me with a strap on.
Thank you for that high quality praxis.
No system is perfect, but name me any system throughout the history of mankind that has pulled more people out of poverty than the free enterprise and a capitalist system.
Venezuela. They killed them all.
There you go. You know what? Here, let's do
Venezuela didn't kill all the poor people. What the fuck is he? Who the fuck is this guy? This guy looks like a cartoon character. Jesus Christ. He actually looks like a porky, you know, like the pig, and it's the anti-capitalist symbol. He actually looks like this person brought to life. He's slouching in his chair. He has the suit and the one button, and his round face is just bulging from his neck. He's got well-maintained hair, and it's Venezuela where they kill all the poor. What? Yeah. The capitalism, industrialization has done good. Cool. I would argue that industrialization is actually the means by which so many people have had the quality of their lives upped. After all, capitalism isn't the past 300 years of progress. Capitalism only determined who got paid for the past 300 years of progress. The Industrial Revolution? This is not an inherently capitalist thing. If that's the case, then why did Soviet Russia manage to industrialize their nation from feudal peasantry to a world superpower in like 30 years? Obviously, industrialization as a concept is not one entirely coinciding with capitalism. Capitalism doesn't build the factories. Capitalism doesn't tow the fields. Capitalism doesn't make technology cheaper and faster and smarter and more accessible. Capitalism just determines who gets paid for these things.
Do a mental exercise. Everyone watch.
Also, the irony of suggesting that Venezuela solved poverty by killing poor people when the United States and Western capitalist powers have been more complicit in global imperialism than any other society in the history of humanity is very much like the people criticizing the poor people in this video. Rich.
Everyone watching, pick a system, any system right now. Think of it in your head, okay? No, that's the answer. Let's just go under Trump because they try to amplify this with Donald Trump. Look, people are worse off ever. Yeah. We have the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years.
Okay, and the highest underemployment rate, and wages are not keeping up with the cost of living.
Record numbers of workers returning to the workforce, highest job labor force participation rate. And by the way, even with all that, we actually have both the lowest layoff rate and the highest amount of unfulfilled, meaning available jobs, since the Department of Labor began recording the statistics ever.
All of which completely irrelevant if the jobs don't pay enough for you to make rent and groceries and what have you. Oof. Ooh. It's almost as though the health of an economy and the extent to which a country provides for its citizens is a little bit more complicated than how close the number is to 100. Ooh, 100% employment rate? Yes, we did it. We have a perfect economy, folks. There are no other conflating factors here which in any way play into the health of an economy. It's the same shit every time. I guarantee you, right, with this Steven Crowder video, came out like, what, a week ago? I guarantee you, I watched this video, I could go onto every single reactionary or alt-right or skeptic or classical liberal channel on YouTube, and all of them will have something to this effect. Socialists asking for money. We have low unemployment. Every single one of them, without relent. Truly NPCs.
It's time to toss your hemp noose over the basement pipe because I only got 3 options: college, military, or being an entrepreneur.
You know, Steven Crowder, I'm pretty edgy, but you are now tripling down on the black voice. This is now the 3rd time you have actively decided to do a black voice, and I am really wondering if you actually think it's funny. I am desperately curious.
It's like I could go to school, study in maybe like the STEM field, or get on Shark Tank. What the f? Like
he won't stop. What am I supposed to do? Do I like waste everyone's time and point out that this is obviously racist? Like, do we need to?
We need a new system,
right?
Hit the notification bell.
I like the cut that. So he kept it going, and then we cut to him shilling for his channel. I bet you he kept the black voice going for like fucking 18 minutes afterwards. He was, the whole time the laughter from his friends got a little bit less convincing with every iteration. He'd be like, and I wear my pants down by my ass, and they were like, Crowder, we're recording, you know that. And I drive my Mercedes. Crowder, we're recording. And he goes on for like 15 minutes until they finally get him to stop. Just show your channel, dude. We'll cut out some of it.
By the way, join up at loudwithcrowder.com/mugclub. It's more necessary than ever. Half-Asian lawyer Bill Richmond can tell you. And of course, subscribe to iTunes and hit the notification bell. I already said that, and rate us on iTunes. It doesn't really matter.
Hit the bell.
Here's one of the biggest ones. You've heard this a lot, right? The idea that there's no wage growth. One of the most common myths is that wages have remained the same. If you factor in,
is it a myth? Is that is this the socialist myth debunked? Pew Research, known lefty think tank. Americans' paychecks are bigger than they were 40 years ago. Obviously, we keep up with inflation, but their purchasing power has hardly budged. It's almost as though relative to the weight of the...
It's funny that many of these classical liberalists forget that their daddy Adam Smith earned against capitalism, but then again they are just a collection of talking points.
Yeah, they have literally no idea what the fuck they're talking about at any given point, which is fun and great, and it makes my job so easy. It's really, in fact, thank you, Steven Crowder, for being the kind of person that doesn't necessitate any level of research to debunk. Yeah, no, this is economic consensus. Wages have, for the vast majority of Americans, the actual purchasing power of the dollar has declined relative to increasing costs of living. Our economy continues to grow more efficient. The average worker continues to produce more relative to their hourly wage, and yet the purchasing power remains the same or actually declines relative to the expenses necessary. This is consensus.
Inflation, and you look at U.S. where people are working more, but they're not getting paid any more money. Here you go. You hear it all the time.
Do you think we're going to get another little graph flashed in front of us for 2 seconds that's an opinion piece of an opinion piece that has no data or like substantive methodological research methods posted there? Do you think we're going to get some more not peer-reviewed shit?
And about half of Americans don't own a stock, a mutual fund, or any it means nothing to them. So they'd rather get a wage increase.
The key thing that we've been looking at for quite a while that doesn't...
Why do they talk over their own fucking clips? This is really triggering for me. You can't understand what they're saying, and you can't understand what the people in the video are saying. The only reason they do it is because these unbelievably stupid fucking dipshits can't go 5 minutes without hearing their own voice. They're so fucking... with their talking points, they have like... wow, really? Like they have no self-control. They're like children.
Seem to be moving too much is wages.
Yeah.
2%. The trouble with 2% is 2% kind of just sucks. Wages growing at 2% is not enough to make anyone feel the job market boom.
First off, I don't want to go ad hominem, but is her chin penciled on? It's like the Burgermeister Meisterburger. It has two very ad hominem, but is her chin...
It's not enough to make anyone feel the job market boom.
First off, I don't want to go ad hominem, but it's her...
Reporting. She just has kind of a pointy chin. Jesus Christ, Crowder.
That is not enough to make anyone feel the job market boom.
First off, I don't want to go ad hominem, but is her chin penciled on? It's like the Burgermeister Meisterburger. It has two very defined lines. Okay, this is just as problematic, to use their word, as the wage gap, the idea of 77 cents in the dollar. That just compares women make X, men make Y. One problem with computing wage growth, the way that the Bureau of Labor... the statistics do, is they do average hourly earnings. It's gonna get a little nerdy. Let me try and go through this really quickly.
Oh, let's do it. Let's get out facts and outdated by Steven does the black voice for 5 consecutive minutes in between linking opinion pieces that have no methodology posted. Crowder. Let's do it.
That doesn't take into account lifetime wage growth. I highly recommend you check out the sources in the overlay that we bring up here right now. Let me distill it for you. When you take into account individual wage growth is calculated by the census.
All right, what the fuck am I looking at? BLS and CPS hourly earnings, CPS hourly wage. I have no idea what the fuck I'm looking at. Let's go to the actual source. The Dallas Federal Reserve Bank. Is this where we got the graph from? Yes, it is. Okay. We're here live from the DallasFed.org. But it's also covered by Bloomberg, I assume. Yeah. According to a new study by a group of researchers, the Federal Reserve Banks of Dallas and Cleveland, researchers concluded average hourly earnings, reported by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, understate real wage growth by a notable amount. How is this possible? Because average hourly earnings isn't measuring an individual's actual hourly wage growth, like one might suspect, reflects the earnings share of weighted average in wages and hours, as well as composition effects that result from earnings differences between individuals entering and leaving the workforce. What the fuck are they talking about? Link both in chat so you can check it? Yeah, sure. You know, I'm qualified to analyze data too, you fucking pretentious motherfucker. Is that not link when I post it because my chat's catching up? There we go. And there's the second one. Godspeed. Let's determine the efficacy. Oh, you're an econ mine? Oh, okay, then there you go. Hold on, I'm gonna get some water. Oh! Oh! All right. Okay. The growth weight of this constructed overall wage. Okay. Average individual wage growth is always higher than average hourly earnings. Why would growth would be logarithmic. Earnings would be arithmetic, right? Because the earnings that you make, or if you make $8 an hour for the rest of your life, $8 an hour, but earnings growth, if the wage increases, then it would increase. Hold on. Life cycle, real wage profiles for white males born in 1950s favor early growth. So we're only doing white men here? Okay. I didn't know that was... I don't know. If we're trying to... Wait a second. If we're trying to dispute the idea that real wages haven't increased and have in fact declined, why would you only use white men born in the 1950s? Okay, alright. Yeah, sure, okay. I'll concede maybe that white men born in the 50s might have seen an average growth... What the f... Okay. Sure. Okay. Explain this, Tracy. Point A, is algebraically the same individual earnings, assigning the weights relative to their income level. For example, you would assign a worker with a higher income a higher weight, and vice versa. But workers tend to experience higher wage growth early on in their career when wages are low, and lower wage growth as they get older and income rises. Okay, so like that. Yeah. The negative relationship implies AHE growth would typically be lower than the average individual weight. Oh, I get so bored reading this. Okay, so now we have this. We have the CPS, the current population survey, calculate average wage growth. Okay, so as the CPS average wage goes so-and-so with noticeable gaps in the data, BLS is only looking at the average? Oh, fascinating. So this article, which is talking about how, hey, maybe wages are keeping up, is also including the uber wealthy and focusing specifically on white men, a demographic which is, of course, disproportionately immune to the declining economic standards. So not only does this average factor in the uber wealthy, who everyone knows their wages are fucking skyrocketing, but we have an analysis which constitutes a very narrow demographic margin, and in addition to this, we are weighting this on the fact that for certain industries there is a initial growth in wages, which then levels off the longer you stay within that industry. There are like 18 different ways in which this fails to debunk the Christ. Thank you, leftist tech support, for your help. Jesus fucking Christ. Hey guys, real wage power isn't decreasing if you look at white men born in the 1950s, and also if you include the uber wealthy, so they massively skew the data. But it doesn't. Oh man. Yeah, like nothing here is technically wrong. All of the data here is accurate in the sense that I'm sure that it's methodologically correct, and they dotted their I's and crossed their T's and what have you. But this does nothing to address the central premise. This is data manipulation at its finest. This is endemic. You know what they say, right? Statistics don't lie, but liars use statistics. Fun.
Their current population survey, okay, those models, it's actually closer to 5%. Average
Which doesn't suck.
No, average individual wage growth is always higher than the simple average hourly earnings growth, and there are a few reasons for this.
By the way, you know for a fact Steven Crowder is not intelligent enough to understand the cherry-picked data that they used in that article. He probably... The iPad he has in front of him is definitely not the article. It's a series of bullet points somebody else wrote out and how to interpret the data in the article.
And I want you to do your own mental exercise, because anecdotal obviously doesn't necessarily prove a point. But the empirical data, I believe, will match up with your anecdotal experience. So anyone out there right now who's done a job or been in a career in the same field of work for more than 10 years watching right now, okay? I'd like you to comment below. If you have been doing the same job or...
Yeah, that's something which is growing more easy in today's economy. Finding a job with a firm and then sticking with them for your entire life as your income and responsibilities slowly increase. That's definitely representative of the average person's working experience in 2019.
Working with the same company, same field of work for 10 years. I want you to do some math. Have you only seen a 2% wage growth?
Holy shit. Nobody was saying there was a 2% flat wage growth. The wage growth was weighted against increased cost of living and inflation. This is the... Look at his smug fucking eyebrow raise here. Jesus Christ.
I would challenge anyone out there. Lower earners at the beginning of their life, by the way, they tend to have the most wage growth. As people get older, they get wealthier, the percentage of wage growth is less. So if you're seeing that sort of pay bump bottom out a little bit, that now it maybe used to be 10%, 12%, now it's 2%, that means you're probably being paid pretty well if it's over a lifetime.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, on top of that wage growth,
That not only was the point he just made stupid, it didn't even accurately represent the biased points made in the article. This is the worst thing for me is that when I watch this shit, I am reminded how much more fucking money I could make if I turned into a reactionary. Because these fucking troglodytes are incapable of even repeating properly the propaganda that they derive from the study which cherry picks the data in a way to make it seem as though, you know, such and such that wage growth is keeping up with our increased living expenses. Like, he's wrong. Like, he's not even good at being bad. He's bad at being bad. But maybe that's good at being bad. Because this guy has 500,000 videos. I mean, 500,000... Well, he does have like 500,000 videos. But what I meant to say was that he has 500,000 views on this video. Okay.
growth just hit a 10-year high, despite all the models predicting the exact opposite, and it seems like it's likely to keep accelerating. All right.
It's all right. The data meta-analyses on wage growth in America and how it relates to inflation and increased cost of living are pretty fucking conclusive. I'm really I'm really sorry if what was it? The Dallas Fed came together and found out that if you're a white man born in the 50s, and if you're also including a demographic of people which are hyper wealthy, that in this instance, maybe wage growth isn't that bad. Like, no. Weak. Mediocre.
Frankly, much wage growth.
US.
You're going to be so tired of all the growth
Not
with
US.
your wages. You won't have room. Your wages will have stretch marks, okay?
Jesus Christ. What was that article? Right conservatives are getting better at humor, and lefties are getting, and this scares lefties. All right. Look at this guy's fucking face. It's Okay, no, never mind. We're keeping off the ad homs today, okay? I haven't even made a joke about how Steven Crowder probably broke his right wrist, fucking jerking himself off for being intelligent enough to understand the point somebody else had to write out about that Denver article.
Here's a second lie. It's really stupid, but I'm going to point out why I think you'll realize it's stupid.
Hey, do you think he's about to misrepresent a socialist talking point? Let's find out together.
On its face, but you often don't think of it this way, that wealth inequality is a huge problem.
We want to deal with the grotesque.
Is it? He didn't misrepresent the point. I was wrong. He represented the point. Wealth inequality is a problem. I'm actually impressed. All right.
Level of income and wealth inequality in America. Very few people think it is acceptable or moral that the top 1/10 of 1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%.
Here's what I call a stupid exercise.
All right, I'm ready. Let's do it. Louder with Crowder.
If I doubled every single person right now, watching, listening, doubled all of our incomes tomorrow, every single one, wealth inequality would increase. Would you be pissed? Would you prefer to live in a...
Well, wealth inequality just means some people have lots of money. That's not bad. Do you want us to not give people money? Ow, fuck, that really hurt. Jesus Christ. But pain is what I need right now. Because only pain...
Berlin, comrade.
Thanks. Because only pain can keep me focused in these dire times. What the fuck are you talking about, Steven Crowder? What the actual fucking... Okay. To those of you who don't know, and I don't know, maybe we have like a passing fruit fly which has wandered into somebody's room and is listening, and I now need to educate them on this. Wealth inequality isn't bad because some people are wealthy. Wealth inequality is bad because the divide in wealth allows some people a massively disproportionate and very undemocratic level of control over society. Okay? People making money isn't bad. That's fine. Have a great time. Okay? The problem is when the vast majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck and a very small group of people with the money to buy lobbyists, with the money to weigh in on the passing of bills in the House of Representatives, with the money to lobby and fund candidates and donate to people with interests representative of their own, that these people, this very small group of people, can subvert democracy. Another point, by the way, that Mr. Louder with Crowder over here just said. In his example, we double everyone's money. Great, okay, this money just comes from the void then. In the example of modern day America, billionaires don't just take their money from the void. This money went to them, but it could have gone elsewhere. That money could have gone to their workers, many of whom are living paycheck to paycheck, many of whom subsist off of food stamps and welfare and Medicaid and what have you. So it is almost as though it is not the act of having money which is a problem, but rather the inequality which emerges from one group being deprived of material resources and another group being flush with it. But okay, please, let's continue. I don't know what else I could possibly have to say.
Place like Cuba or Venezuela, where people make whopping $30 a month in Cuba. The problem isn't poverty. The problem is wealth inequality. And I know that there are some nations in between. I'm not saying your only choice is the United States or Cuba. Generally speaking, socialism simply socializes mediocrity, poverty. Matter of fact, every study that we have available shows there's no correlation between wealth inequality and the poverty rate.
Okay. What does that have to do? What? Well, and we see here, there's actually no correlation between wealth inequality and the amount of ice cream cones sold out on the street during hot days. I mean, if you look at this clearly, wealth inequality isn't that bad. I mean, we still have the ice cream. What the fuck are you talking about?
Usually as wealth inequality becomes big, as that gap becomes bigger, conditions of poor families have actually improved. And here's
What? So, increasing wealth inequality makes poor people wealthier?
You know, it's not so much a lie that they push. Let me set this up with a fact. Socialism has never actually worked.
He got us with the fact. Let me hit you up with a fact. Lefties are dumb idiot poopheads. Fact. I have to stop watching Steven Crowder videos. He's too unapologetic with his stupidity. At least the other reactionary channels, the fascists and the alt-right, at least they make some conciliatory effort to appear intellectual to substantiate their points. Crowder does no such thing. Crowder embraces his smooth-brainedness.
Okay? Never. And they always try to claim that it's never been tried properly, or where it has been tried properly now, they've pivoted, and this is only the last 10 years, to the Scandinavian countries that they're all socialist. Here you go.
What
happened in Venezuela? They call that democratic socialism. But
he looks like he's masturbating on a subway.
The problem is, though, brother,
you think he's going to do a black guy voice after this?
That any time there's been the attempts of ordinary people to engage in self-determination, they can get crushed by external nations. Look at U.S. policies toward Venezuela has been very, very ugly. Nicaragua in the same way. So we've never had a chance to really pull it off. So it's only been a movement so far.
Well, so long as we know what democratic socialism is, and if we know...
Stop talking over the fucking video, you brainlet shits!
That in countries in Scandinavia, like Denmark, Norway, Sweden, they are very democratic countries, obviously.
America to look more like Scandinavia.
That's right. That's right. And what's wrong with that?
So we've got a conflation of like 18 different things here. So Venezuela is the same thing as the Scandinavian country? Okay. I can't. There are so many ways I could respond to this, but all of them require a baby's first history lesson. So let's just see where he takes this, and everything he's about to say is going to be very evidently stupid, so it won't take that much effort to debunk it.
Well, there's a lot wrong with that.
Okay.
First off, the snus.
What?
Snus?
It's a snooze.
Snooze?
Snooze,
if
man.
the tobacco goes up your nose.
Oh, never mind.
That's snuff.
No,
Snooze
snuff goes in your lip. Snus goes up your nose.
Snooze goes here, snuff goes here.
I don't know anything about tobacco outside of cigars, which, by the
Boy, this is some boomer-ass shit right now. Okay.
way, ironically come from a lot of these crap-hole countries. Nicaragua.
That's the one silver lining.
They try to say Venezuela, a truly socialist and, by the way, oil-rich country, kind of starting on phase 3.
What?
Only failed because of U.S. policies? Truth is,
I mean, Venezuela was doing a lot better before we initiated an embargo. I don't know. Certainly that's not the only reason Venezuela did bad, but there is a long-standing history of the United States of America and other allied nations destabilizing countries with democratically elected socialist leaders. This is, I wouldn't call this so much a hobbit, what the fuck am I saying? A hobby of America and allied capitalist nations, as I would a favored pastime. Every time the election in some developing nations, Latin America, Southeast Asia, every time they start to see like a socialist leader climb up in the polls, they start fueling those bombers. Well, we don't literally bomb them, but they start like they get ready for. They love it. They love doing it. We've done this to like dozens of countries, democratically elected socialist leaders that we've had put under the ground or exiled or at the very least disempowered, and then we propped up like a right-wing, very often a fascist regime in their place, because fascism doesn't threaten capital the same way socialism does.
We did a whole segment on this, so I'm just going to sort of brush on this. Scandinavian countries, actually, they built up their wealth under free market economies, and right now they're actually...
Yeah, the Scandinavian countries are market economies. Do they think that Bernie Sanders doesn't want a market economy? Do they unironically think that Bernie Sanders advocates for a planned economy?
Moving much more toward free market capitalism, despite their incredibly small, homogenous populations, by the way.
And we had to do it. We had to do the little alt-right bone to throw out there. And, of course, also, the Scandinavian countries have their homogenous white populations. We had to... Yeah, it's very necessary we throw that out there, because you can tell how Nazi a person, like the specific extent to which they criticize Scandinavia, but the full alt-right answer is, of course, oh, they're doing well. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. They have like a nice economy or whatever. But of course, they're only white people there. Obviously, things are going better for them.
And keep in mind, their top corporate tax rates actually lower than the United States were under Obama. We're actually going.
What is this? Wait, what is this? Wait, Steven Crowder. Bernie Sanders just said he wants America to look more like the Scandinavian countries. Wouldn't that mean Bernie Sanders wants to lower the higher corporate tax rates? Aren't you arguing in favor of his position? He said he wants to make it more like Scandinavia. And you're like, well, Scandinavia is a market economy and that has higher corporate tax rates. Okay. Bernie Sanders knows this. Bernie Sanders didn't go on YouTube 5 days ago and Googled his name and saw this video and then learned this from you. He actually knows this. You're making his point for him.
Going their direction now, finally, for the first time. And something else that is remarkable to me, did you know that when Scandinavian people move to the United States, they have higher standards of living on average than those in the Scandinavian countries?
Incredible. Did you know that people who are wealthy enough to consider leaving their home country and traveling to a different country with an entirely different language and economy are usually the ones who are well off enough to believe they could do well for the transition? Wow. Did you know the same goes for Africa? That most African immigrants who migrate from Africa to America tend to be very disproportionately wealthy because usually it is the wealthy people who are capable of making that trip comfortably?
In other words, Danes in the United States have it
Oh, Creative Nothing. I didn't ignore your super chat. I'm responding to all of them at the end of the video.
better than Danes in Denmark. Swedes in the United States have it better than Swedes in Sweden.
Well, just the Swedes who moved to America, who are wealthy enough to do so. And I'd be willing to bet a lot of the Swedes who move to America do so for business opportunities. And the kind of people who unironically move to a new nation for business opportunities are probably doing pretty well financially if they're moving from Scandinavia to America. So this is not, don't misinterpret the argument here. It's not as though if everyone in Scandinavia moved to America, they would all be doing better. This is ludicrous.
Without the high suicide rate.
Is there a super high suicide rate? I knew it was Japan.
Suicide. Well, I know Japan, but I thought
Norway.
Norway, yes.
That's just because of the weather, and they all have to watch Let the Right One In.
Yeah, and by the way, how many times do they have to come on camera and say, Bernie, please stop pointing to us as socialists?
Yeah.
We're not socialists.
They have a lot of... They have a...
Wait, so if they're not socialist and all Bernie Sanders wants to do is make the country more like a Scandinavian country, doesn't that make Bernie Sanders not a socialist? I thought at the beginning they said fucking Kamala Harris is a socialist. It's incredible. Every point they make contradicts every other point they make. They can't... Okay.
A social safety net, which, by the way, is why cars, for example, I think in Denmark, most people can't afford used cars. You can go to louderscutter.com.
Yeah.
We wrote an article about this not long ago because the taxes are unbelievable.
Aren't most Scandinavian countries like the happiest in the world? Yeah, but they also have a high suicide. That's a whole other thing. And also, it's irrelevant to the argument. The conditions which make the Scandinavian countries have their own happiness and suicide index rates be the way they are specific to the country's culture, not to their mode of economic organization.
Believable.
Yeah.
There's a huge burden on the middle class. That being said, they built up their wealth under free market economies. So you can't claim that a country, if the United States, for example, the United States tomorrow became a socialist country, would you say that we became the world's greatest superpower under socialism?
No.
Of course not.
No.
Obviously, I would say that
Wait, what? The Scandinavian countries were very economically successful under a broad range of policies that you would describe as socialist. Or now that the alt-right tactic is saying that they aren't socialist, but rather that they are capitalist nations who benefit from ethnic homogeneity. Maybe you wouldn't say so. But I'm like, I don't know what to say. I mean, if you want to talk about countries seeing enormous levels of economic success under socialism, we can take a look at the USSR if you want. The USSR may have done some pretty awful shit, but they sure did, over 30 years, go from being a feudal peasant nation to being a world superpower. But
the facts are on our side, okay? Because I just listed over a dozen. But I know that...
Well, he did it. He found a dozen facts. Wow! He did it, guys! Fuck! I thought we were only going to get 5 facts to debunk the 5 lies. But he actually provided a dozen. That's 7 free facts. Wait a second. Did Steven Crowder give me facts for free? Isn't that socialist? Steven Crowder. What happened to your principles, man?
That both sides argue they're on the side of truth. Okay, let's put that aside for a second. One thing that can't be denied is that even in theory, capitalist free enterprisers, the conservative worldview can only function if an individual feels empowered. And I know that Bernie bros are going to say that that's a lie because of the system, man. All right.
Wait, what? Wait. What? Wait, capitalism can only work if the individual feels empowered? What about slavery? What the fuck are you talking about? That he's literally arguing that the success of capitalism is evidence that everyone under capitalism feels empowered. You do know that for a substantial portion of our history, a pretty wide swath of our labor base were, as one might say, not very empowered. You would probably, if you heard them speak about their plight, mock them in a racialized accent, Stephen Crowder. They were slaves.
I know. The fact is that the conservative message is predicated on the idea that individuals feel optimistic about their opportunities in future.
Yeah. So people are feeling less optimistic about the future now than they have been in a very, very long time.
Socialists can only remain in power by convincing the entire population of hopelessness. Conservatives have to campaign on, hey, anyone can make it in America. You're good enough.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of true. The conservative goes up and campaigns, and they say, hey, this system is working just fine. Pay no attention to the peeling paint in the walls, the leaking water, the global economic crisis looming, the ecological crisis that we're coming to deal with, the fact that income inequality is rising, the fact that there are market externalities we can't deal with, the fact that democracy is growing less and less transparent as there are more and more influences from different corporations and higher business institutions which are capable of influencing our elections. Pay no attention to any of those things. Everything is fine. You'll work out just fine if you just go to the factory and become vice president. Everything is fine. And socialists campaign by pointing out all of the flaws that conservatives lie about or ignore and say, guys, we literally can't keep doing this. We're actually all going to fucking die if we keep this up. We gotta make a hard turn left, my friends. Yeah, I mean, this is true. Yes. Socialist messaging is and always has been rather pessimistic because it is done in response to the, perpetual global threat, which is brought about by capitalism.
Democrats and socialists but I repeat myself, have to campaign on, you can't make it. You're not good enough. Others are going to win.
Nope. Do Democrats say that you're not good enough? I like, by the way, that you can extend this logic to literally anything. You could say this to slaves. The conservative would say, hey, you slaves. Democrats are saying, well, back then it would be Republicans, right? Because the dude. Sir Stephen Crowder Esquire would say, hey, slaves, the fucking abolitionists are saying you're not good enough to make it in the system. But you know what? If you pick cotton hard enough, I might privilege you and allow you to use the bars of soap that I finish and are now too small for me to comfortably hold in my hand. This could be your life. The abolitionists say you're not good enough for that. The abolitionists say that you're not strong enough or not smart enough to earn that sliver of soap. But I know you can do it. Now get back to the fields.
You'll lose, and none of it is in your control because it's all a part of the system. It is a selfish appeal, and certainly right now in the United States, it's not based on truth. Right now, in an economy with the lowest unemployment, highest job participation, least amount of firings, most amount of jobs available in decades, they're still selling you propaganda that you couldn't possibly make it without them. And I'll come out and say it. In 2019, only the weakest among you buy that lie. If you look at all of the prospects I just listed,
this is super fucking boring. Being critical and acknowledging the existence of systemic issues makes you weak. Toughening up. This is why I say, by the way, that the archetypical conservative myth of like the masculine man who doesn't take no for an answer, who works hard and doesn't complain about it. This makes you society's greatest bitch. If you're a man right now and you're listening and you think of yourself like this, oh yeah, I'll tough it out and I'll do the hard work and no one else, then you are the greatest bitch, the greatest cuck slave imaginable, because this attitude is imposed on you by people who profit from your servitude. Do you think that unquestioning servitude makes you strong? Do you think that unwillingness to critique society and demand something better makes you weak? Or strong, sorry. You're literally being fucked. And I know this especially bothers the manly man who doesn't. You are actually having your pants pulled down, your ass peeled apart, and you are begging your corporatist overlords to fuck you in the ass and tell you why you should not complain about it. All right. That was a good... We had fun with that one. Man, Steven Crowder is really fucking stupid, huh? Whew.